Hello everyone and welcome back to Sunny. My name is Sunny and I'm your host, and today I'm coming to you with an announcement video. I'm announcing a readathon that I'm co-hosting with some other great, amazing people, and I am so excited for this to be happening. My announcement video is a tiny bit late because I haven't been filming in like ages, and I'm a bit apprehensive when it comes to filming and especially editing. So please, excuse me. But let's just go into the readathon so you know what's up. I'm also going to do a recommendation video with recommendations that I have for the prompts. Probably not for all of the prompts, but for a lot of the prompts I might actually do have recommendations, but I will see and then I will post a recommendations video. And then of course I also will do a TBR video because I'm actually participating in this one. But let's just go into this. The readathon is called the Descendathon. I don't know if you know Disney Descendants. It's a franchise where Disney took old Disney characters such as the heroes and the villains, and they kind of created a world around them. So there's the Audrey, there is the United States of Audrey where all the heroes live, and there's it's a kingdom, so they kind of appoint a king, but also all the different kingdoms are in there as well, and all the villains were sent to an island. So the king of Audrey sent them to an island which is called the Isle of the Lost. There is no magic, no Wi-Fi, nothing, and no way to escape, basically. And in there, all the villains live. Basically, after a couple of years, people start to reproduce, basically. And of course, now we have kids, both in the United States of Audrey and as well kids on the Isle of the Lost. And the overall premise of at least the first movie is that the going to be new appointed king, who is Prince Ben, wants to have some of the villain kids coming to Audrey because he thinks that they're not their parents, and it's not their fault that their parents are villains. They should not be basically imprisoned for something that their parents did. He picks 4 kids, the kids of Maleficent, Cruella de Vil, Evil Queen, and Jafar, and he makes them come to Audrey. And this is where the readathon comes in. The readathon is going to be a month-long readathon in November, starting midnight your time and ending midnight your time. And it's going to be teams, which is going to be fun. We have, of course, the Audrey kids, which are basically the kids growing up in the United States of Audrey, kids of heroes, and the villain kids growing up in the Isle of the Lost and being the kids of the villains from Disney movies. The fun part about this is that we have optional challenges which you can do but you don't actually have to do, and these are more to gain some extra points. So challenges can give you they can actually give you 5 more coins each. Coins in this readathon are going to be kind of the currency and the system of points. Challenges are to post your TBR, to participate in at least one sprint, and this sprint does not have to be from the readathon. It does not have to be on the readathon's Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or anything. It can just be, oh my gosh, this YouTuber that I like is doing a reading sprint, I'm just going to join in the comments. That totally counts. It does not have to be a Descendants reading sprint for it to count as joining participating in a reading sprint. Then challenges we have as well to read a chapter to find the next read. For example, you want to start off the readathon, but you're not 100% sure which book to start with, so you go, okay, I'm going to read the first chapter in these 2 and see which one I like most, and then start with that one. So that's then a participated challenge that counts, then 5 points, yay! We have to let someone pick up which book to pick up. This could be either make a friend go, okay, So this is the challenge. I don't know which book to put in my TBR. Can you help me? Or it could just be, okay, this is my TBR. Help me pick what to read next. Totally counts as long as you have someone helping you pick. This doesn't have to be a friend in person. It can just be in the Discord server where you're like, okay, I don't know which book to read next. Can you help me? Or I don't know which book would be better in my TBR. Which one would you recommend? That totally counts as well. It's very open. Then we have challenges such as finish a book series and read a sequel. So those can be most times very easy if you're like me and start a lot of series. It might be good to finish a series. And then kind of like a very, very fun challenge, which was inspired by the magical readathon by Book Roast, is to create your own Audrey or villain kid and tell us about them. We have a specific channel in our Discord server for the characters, and this character does not have to be the same as you. So if you are a villain kid because the prompts fit better for you, but you kind of prefer the Audrey kids, you can make an Audrey kid yourself. It's totally fine. It doesn't have to be the same background story as your character, as your team. It doesn't have to be the same team. It can be different team. It can be technically mixed, saying that, okay, I like this villain, I like this hero, and they could technically have come together before the villains were sent to the Isle. It totally works. It's optional. It's just for fun. Make it whatever you want it to make out of it, and it's just for fun. Also, we want backstories, because sometimes people come up with the most amazing backstories. But let's just go into the prompts. So each team has 4 prompts. The important part in this is, first off, you can double up, triple up, quadruple up, if possible. Totally fine, whatever you want to do. Then, you can just pick one prompt and decide, okay, I want to try to read as many books as I want for this prompt. Totally fine, you can double, quadruple up a prompt itself as well. It totally works, and as everything's anonymous, nobody will find out anything, so it's totally fine. It's also just for fun, and because we only have 4 prompts, we can't really say you only can read 4 books. No, you can do whatever you want with this. It is kind of inspired by the Whatever You Want-a-thon, where you could do the prompts several times as well. Just because let's do this for fun, you know, it's optional, it's fun. You don't actually have to participate in this readathon. It's for fun. But let's go into the teams and the prompts. I will start with the other team's prompts because best for last. And that's the Audrey kids. First off, we have Ben. Oh, by the way, every kind of prompt character is represented by one of the hosts. I will have a list in the description down below of everything needed, including the hosts and which character they represent, and a Google Drive, a link into the Discord server and for the Twitter and everything. But just so you know, all of us represent one of the prompt characters. But the first prompt character is Ben, and because he is the son of Beauty and the Beast, we decided to go with a retelling. And if you want to go into the specifics, you can try and find a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which there is very little of those up there. But it can just be a general retelling. It doesn't have to be Beauty and the Beast. Then we have Audrey. And Audrey is the daughter of Sleeping Beauty, so Aurora. I can't spell her name. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm sorry for that. So it's Aurora and Philip. Philip. And she is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Sadly, her character isn't as gorgeous. So we decided to go with a prompt that's a pretty cover where you aren't 100% sure you'll like. Most times, at least with me, I buy books because of the beautiful cover. However, I end up sometimes just not picking them up because I'm not even 100% sure what they are about, because I just picked them because of their cover. So a book like that would count. A book where you're like putting it back every time, or where you're like a bit apprehensive, or you've read some like not so good reviews, or you maybe even haven't heard so much about it, that would totally count as well, because you haven't heard so much about it, or nobody you know has read the book and can tell you what they think. You're not 100% sure you like it because you people have the same reading taste, or they don't like it and you don't, you have a very similar reading taste. That would totally count. It's very, I tried to make it as easy as possible. Then we have Jane, who is the daughter of the fairy godmother. We don't actually find out who the father is, but Jane, for me personally, is like my favorite Audrey kid character. She is so cute, so shy, and just overwhelmed with everything, which I totally understand and totally get. And because of that, I decided to go with underrated book for this character. Not because she is actually very underrated, but personally I feel like everyone should love Jane. That makes sense. And then last character we have Doug, which Doug is the son of one of the 7 dwarfs. I think it's Dopey. I'm not 100% sure and I don't want to give wrong information out. But we know that Doug's very, very smart. And also one thing we know is that Doug is in the marching band and plays instruments and also sings and dances. And because of that, we decided to go with a prompt that is based on or inspired by a musical, or that includes music. So it can be something like Wicked, which I do think that there is a book out of that, which there is a musical for that as well. It can be like books like Matilda. It can be very, very broad. Like, you know, oh, this book, I know there's a musical for that, so I'm gonna take that one. Or it can just be where music is a big part in it. Well, like On the Come Up would totally work because she does music herself. Heartstop will work because there is playlists in the back of the book as well, as far as I remember. So this one is just very music based and is very, I hope, very easy. Then each team has their own group book, which is an option, a possibility, and if you want to try to get each prompt, like each character prompt, this group book can technically take out one of the character prompts. And for the team Audrey kids, we decided to take the book Stay Gold by Toby McSmith, which if you want to read it and you can't find any Doug book, it would basically balance it out and you wouldn't have to have a Doug book. But because you can read every prompt as often as possible, this would be more of if you want to really challenge yourself and really try to get each prompt at least once, then it would count as a Doug book. And Stay Gold is LGBTQIA+ representation, and I will go more into detail about the book in the recommendations video. Then we have my team, the Villain Kids. And yeah, let's just go into the Villain Kids. Of course, just because I'm in the Villain Kids does not mean you have to join the Villain Kids. Join the team wherever you feel like the prompts fit your bookshelf best, which prompts you feel like you will be able to do the best. You know what I mean? Not just because, oh, villains, but do it because of the prompts, not because of the team. Okay, let's go with the Villain Kids. First off, we have Mel, which is my character, and Mel is the daughter of, Mel is the daughter of Maleficent. And we know who Maleficent is, right? So it's kind of funny also that Mel and Audrey come together, who are like, their parents are in the same movie world. They're in the same story, so that's kind of interesting. And Mel's prompt is to read a book with either a villain or a morally grey character, POV. So it's not just has to be a character in it that's a villain or morally grey character, but also there needs to be a POV from a villain or morally grey character. Just so, because every book most times has a villain, right? But I hope that makes sense. Because I mean, she's a kid of a villain. You don't expect her to be nice. Then we have Carlos, and sadly, the actor who played Carlos in the 3 movies died shortly after the last movie was finished filming, and he died in his sleep due to an epileptic seizure, and because of that we decided to focus the prompt more on the actor rather than on Carlos himself. So with Carlos's prompt we decided to go with epileptic mental disability epileptic or other disability representation, or even mental health representation if it's easier for you to find a book. We do know epileptic representation is kind of hard to find in books. At least personally, I have not read a book with epileptic representation in it. So we kind of decided to broaden it up a little bit. So you can do a book with disability, like a disability representation, or just a mental health representation, depending on what's personally easiest to you. Then we have Evie, who's the daughter of the evil queen. And Evie is gorgeous. So kind of like Audrey, she's gorgeous. But she's not just pretty, she's also smart. She just has to find it, you know? And because of that, we decided to go with a prompt that's called Not Just a Pretty Cover. So basically a book where there is actually also a very deep meaning behind in the story, between the pages, and basically it's not just, ooh, I like this cover, but also when you read it, you're like, that meaning, oh yeah, that's deep. I hope that makes sense. And then, yeah, so that's Evie. And last, we have Jay, who is the son of Jafar. And Jay is a thief. He steals for his father's store. You can just see him stealing all the time. And because of that, we decided to go with a book that has a heist setting or thievery. So that's also kind of broad. There's a couple of books that fit into this. I will say more in my recommendations video. And also, again, this team also has a possible group book, and this one would count for Carlos, and the group book is Peter Pan by J.M. No, I didn't change the Google form. That's my fault. Okay. Peter Darling by Austin Chant is the book, which is also LGBTQIA plus representation. We decided to go with kind of 2 books that kind of also work together in terms of representation and everything. And yeah, again, I will say more about the book itself in my recommendations video. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you did so, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Don't forget to click on the bell right next to you so you don't miss whenever I post a new video. Whoever knows whenever that will happen again. Hopefully not too far back, because I still need to do 2 more videos for this video. But yeah, comment down below if you will join and which team you will join, because I'm excited for this readathon. Yeah, hope you like this. Keep on reading and see you next time. Bye.